welcome to a new episode of ET Retail Cafe by ET Retail. We are back to add some glamour to your Monday mornings because we are covering Myntra today. So today we have with us Nandita Sinha, who is the CEO of Myntra. Welcome to ET Retail Cafe, Nandita.
Thank you so much, Charu. Really happy to be here today.
So I want to know a lot about you, Nandita. How did retail journey started for you? What was the inspiration? What was the idea behind joining the retail industry?
So I started my career with FMCG, and I think somewhere along the line, and I tell this story to a lot of people because I think it's important to say this. I started my career with Unilever, and my husband was in Bangalore. He's a techie, and therefore I followed him to Bangalore. I joined Britannia from there. And if you're in Bangalore, then you want to start up, right? Because that's what everybody else is doing. And as a result of being in Bangalore, I got this thing in my mind that I want to start up, and I started up a baby and maternity e-commerce, venture. I spent some time there, and I realized that I actually knew nothing about retail because that was my first experience into it. But I loved the consumer internet world and what the possibilities it was opening. And this was like way back in 2012. So many years ago, a lot of things were happening, and I realized this is the world I want to be in. So while that venture didn't work out as I wanted it to work out, but it did plant the seed of saying that I want to be in the consumer internet world. I want to be in e-commerce, and that's the world that I wanted to explore. And that's when Flipkart happened. And Flipkart, of course, has been a journey that once in a lifetime it happens to you, that you are in the you are at the right time where a new industry is taking off, a new company is taking off, and you are actually playing a part in building everything from scratch. So I got a lot of opportunities to create new categories, build new categories, work with wonderful leaders, learn a lot. And I think that whole, we all were very, very committed to kind of bringing the, the joy of e-commerce to the country. So that's how this journey started. I love being in consumer internet. I think it's how do you connect the digital and the real world together? How do you, whether it's products or experiences or brands, I think there is a lot of problem solving. India is still a country which it has fewer brands, organized retail is lesser, and therefore the opportunities are very much so. So I think that's really what excited me about retail. That's what excited me about consumer internet, and that's the journey.
And with the penetration of internet, we are seeing more consumers consuming content online content. Apart from that, they are shopping online. They are open to the idea of shopping online as compared to it used to be in earlier days.
Yeah. I think, what we all kind of keep telling each other as we, start our days every day is that there are more than 600 million people on the internet today who are browsing the internet, who have internet access to themselves. Close to 230 million of them are shopping. And therefore, the journey for e-commerce shopping is tremendous. Like, there is a lot of room to cover. But apart from that, I think what is happening is that as people have access to the internet, they are consuming a lot of trends which are happening globally. There is a lot of information. There is a lot of inspiration that is available globally. And and especially the youngsters, the Gen Z consumers, Gen Z and millennial today make up almost 50% of the population in the country. So all of these consumers are actually discovering brands every day on the internet, especially the fashion brands. And I think the work for a platform like Myntra is to really connect these consumers with the brands that they discover, the trends that they discover. And that's what a lot of our work is about. So there is, of course, the access that the internet has provided. It's not just access, but also inspiration and information. And I think the information asymmetry between global and Indian trends is now coming down. So I think the younger consumers are very quickly discovering the trends, and they want access to them very quickly. And that's what we see on our platform also. And that's what makes this journey exciting.
Oh, nice. So, Nandita, tell me one thing. You have been a part of the FMCG industry, being an entrepreneur yourself, and now a part of the e-commerce platform. So how has the journey been like? Which part did you enjoy the most and why?
I think a lot of differences, but the similarity is that you have to focus on two things all the time. I think one is really understanding who is your consumer and what is the value that you're adding in your consumer's life. And the second one is, how are you building the rails of your business? How are you building the fundamentals of your business correct so that you can add that value to your consumer's life and you can create products which are meaningful for them. So I think that has remained similar across different industries. The context may differ, the product may differ, the way you approach the value creation may differ, but that remains constant. And I think creating good teams, I think that even in a small setup, when you're an entrepreneur, you realize that having a good team is very, very important. And then, of course, that gets amplified as you are in the e-commerce world, where you're building a set of people who are new to the domain. Like when we started off 10 years back, everybody was new to this domain. Yeah. So I think you still had to build a good team and learn together as a team. And that continues. And I think innovation, again, as if you look at all the three phases you spoke about, whether it's FMCG or as an entrepreneur or as part of a big, or a company like Myntra, you still have to constantly innovate because your consumer is evolving. So how do you keep ahead of the curve through innovation? That is another thing which remains constant in this journey.
Nandita, when you have started talking about consumers, I want to know how have you seen the consumer behavior changing all through your career? I mean, FMCG, you must be observing the consumers closely, your own entrepreneurship journey, you must have observed them. And here at e-commerce space also. Yeah.
I think again, I feel over the last, I would say 7 to 8 years, and especially post the pandemic, right? I think what has happened really is that there are 2 or 3 trends which are emerging very, very significantly. One is that the digital the consumer is becoming more digital. Yeah. So I think there is, whether it's a payment habit, or there is shopping, or there is inspiration, or there is content, there is an end-to-end digital journey that the consumer is actually making and is constantly getting access to a lot of things through digital. However, along with that, I think what is also happening is that it is not just about the consumers are younger. I think overall, you had the millennials and now you have Gen Z, and there is a difference between the two consumer sets. I think Gen Z consumers, they have a lot of access to trends, to what's happening in the world, and they are forming their own point of view about how they want to accommodate these trends or what's happening. They have a very different take on how they want to kind of look at things, and the brands that they interact with, the kind of lifestyle choices that they make. So I think that is a very, very different set of consumers who are evolving and who have they are open to a lot of new things, whether it's having traveling and working at the same time, having a office in a different location. I think their entire way of looking at the world is very different, and it's very interesting. I think they look at things from a very open mindset, and I think that's very, very interesting. As you see, as they even adopt trends and brands, that's very interesting. I think the third thing is that, there is the entire I would say there is a lot of scope for niches to actually grow. I think that's what's happening a lot. So whether you have international brands or D2C brands or different need states, I think all of those are also growing. So I think those are the 3 things which are looking very different from what they were 15 years back. There is a lot of consumers are spending a lot of their time on digital consumption of media, shopping, inspiration, payments, everything. Second is, I think the Gen Z consumers have a mind of their own. They are really, really questioning the norms of the, like what things used to be, and creating their own path, and therefore brands and trends, etc. And thirdly, I would say that there is a lot of new niches which are really coming at scale. So I would say these are the 3 things that are happening.
So when you talk about niches, we have seen D2C brands going, deeper into the categories and actually bringing out products which are giving tough competition to the big conglomerate, FMCG conglomerates, which have been there from here in ages. Yeah. So what do you have to say? Is it the right way to disrupt the category and conquer the consumers? And
actually, I think India is a severely unbranded country, right? In a $100 billion fashion industry, only 35 to 40% of it is branded. So actually, the scope for brandification is very, very high. And therefore, all sorts of brands will exist, whether they are the big conglomerates who've been in the country for a very long time and who have the scale and the brand equity, or there are international brands which consumers are exposed to, or new D2C brands, right? D2C will be a $40 billion industry in the next 3 to 4 years. We've seen tremendous, increase in it as we launched our Myntra Rising Stars program. But what's interesting is that consumers are increasing the repertoire of brands that they are buying. So I don't think that there is so much opportunity for all kinds of brands to grow. I think that's what's going to actually happen.
So Nandita, I also second your point, because I have also seen there was a point where there were brand consciousness among the consumers, but now they are happy trying new brands, adopting new brands in a new way, in a new fashion that way.
Yeah.
So Nandita, my next question is: you have worked in 3 different spheres. So what are the learnings that you are bringing from all the spheres to here at Myntra?
I think, like I said, I think there are 2 or 3 things which remain constant throughout. One is really understand your consumer. What is the product that you're building for the consumer? How are you adding value to your consumer's life? I think really having that keen understanding and observation of what's really happening in the consumer's life and how are you adding value. I think that has been something which has been constant for each of these each of the stints, but also as you look at entrepreneurs or people who work with in FMCG industries or e-commerce, I think that, or retail, that remains the same. I think the second is really being able to figure out how do you build a business which adds, where you can really add value to the consumer's life. So I think that's the second. What is your business model? What kind of capabilities are you building? What is really that is allowing you to deliver that superior value to your customers, and really keep investing behind that. And part of that in e-commerce, for example, is innovation, especially for a company like Myntra. So I think constantly understanding that what delivers superior value for you, for your customers, and constantly investing behind that continues to be something which is important. I think what's also emerging, whether it is the FMCG world or the retail world, and of course a lot of entrepreneurs in the country, I think technology and how do you use technology becomes very, very important, because it is a great enabler. So even for an FMCG company, how do you do distribution at scale with a lot of data and information and transparency is enabled through technology. Of course, e-commerce, retail, omni is all something which is empowered by technology. So I think that's the third thing. And I think fourth thing, which never goes out of style, is build a good team. You have to ensure that your team is not only working together, they come together for everything, but also you're continuously investing in their capability so that they can become bigger leaders, better leaders, and manage more complicated charters, because things are really changing very fast today in today's world, and leaders need to have that ability to respond to changes, deal with ambiguity, and take their teams along. So I think those are the 4 things that I would say are learnings from across all of these industries.
As you have initiated the topic about technology, Myntra has always been at the forefront of technology. So what sort of technological changes have you brought in at Myntra? I mean, has Myntra brought in to match the changing consumer expectations?
I think Myntra's mission has always been to democratize fashion and lifestyle through technology. And I think over the last many, many years, right, Myntra has always been at the forefront, has always invested in technology innovation, as well as I think the team itself has built it, the team has been very, very good and capable and motivated to be able to actually take this agenda forward in terms of democratizing fashion through technology. Last 18 months, a few quarters, I think what the team has been doing is to really transform the experience both pre-purchase as well as post-purchase through technology, and really introducing a lot of India-first features to the table. So Myntra was the first company to introduce social commerce in November 2021 actually, right? And we have Myntra M Live, Myntra Studio, and now we launched Myntra Minis, which is a short snackable content, and this is all for ensuring that there is enough inspiration on our platform. So consumers are really completing the content to commerce journey very, very seamlessly on Myntra as a platform. So I think from pre-purchase, those have been, like some of our big innovations that we've done. Very, very recently, I think Myntra Stylist and My Fashion GPT basically, how do you actually help consumers put together an ensemble? A lot of times consumers have a question, I want to go for a wedding to Jaipur. What should I wear? And that's what my fashion GPT actually brings to the table. So I think we've tried to really transform the pre-purchase experience and tried to, there is this, how do you really bring together the inspiration, information, and commerce part of it together in that experience? So I think that's been a big investment area for us. And these are all India first innovations and have really, made a difference in how the consumers are shopping. And we've seen that in our numbers. If you look at the post-purchase experience, I think consumers really require two things, which is seamless delivery and also access to a lot of products. And third is, how do you make their return experience, if there is a return, how do you make it more seamless? So I think with Myntra, M Express, we've been able to create that differentiator through speed. A lot of it is actually, the backend is really powered by technology, and that's what it does. Or how do we, how do we ensure that there is size and fit, for example, recommendations that customers get, so that they don't have to, they get the right product the first time around. So I think there is a lot of pre-purchase and post-purchase innovation that Myntra has done. And a lot of these are first in the fashion world. And we see a lot of uptake from our customers. Whenever we launch something new, we see a lot of excitement in customers. There is a lot of adoption of these features. And that helps make our platform better. And, consumers keep coming back to it. And that's how technology helps us.
So not only fashion, Nandita, to be honest, according to my personal experience, similar experience I've experienced at your beauty segment also.
Yeah. So beauty actually is an investment area for us. I think as we were talking about what our mission is, which is, democratizing fashion and innovation through technology. What we realized is that we have our consumers who are very, very confused with the amount of information that is available on beauty. And what they really need is a personalized experience on what is needed by their, what are their needs. And therefore, we created all of these beauty tools, which are virtual try-ons or, product recommendation or skin analyzer, where they can actually, you can either scan, your picture, your face can be scanned for understanding what are the problem areas, etc. Or you can try on products, or you can actually input and get recommendation on hair and skin products, etc. So I think those are kind of features which help consumers, break through the clutter and really understand what is it that my skin needs, what is my beauty need today, and get products which are part of, that repertoire. So I think that's how we are also ensuring that our foray into beauty is actually differentiated through technology innovations.
So be it in-app experience, be it on the website experience, Myntra has aced the game that way.
Yeah. And I think what, just to take it for, further, what we realized is that there are different consumer cohorts who are looking for different experiences. And we realized Gen Z is one such cohort, which is looking for a very, very specialized experience. Like you said, they are trend first consumers. They are looking for trends. Today I see it, I spot it on Instagram and I want it tomorrow. And therefore we created a special app journey for them where they can actually go on forward. They can, discover styles. We introduced 2,500 styles every week for them. We, we curated by trend, and there is a lot of trend first conversation that is happening. Myntra Minis is a part of that experience where in small snackable content, they are able to actually absorb trends. We also partner with various, because celebrity content is still big for us in India. Therefore, we continuously kind of build on content from partners like Viral Bihani, etc., who give us content and inspiration on what celebrities are doing. We look at, Style Squad as influencer army, which is outside of the app, to be able to talk to these consumers. And I think the biggest, the one cool innovation that the team did was, spot it and shop it, which is that you take a screenshot of anything that you see on Instagram and you forward it to Myntra, and you will see, we use our photo search in a very, very contemporary, fun way for consumers to actually look at it. So I think all of these ways are how we are actually also innovating the app-in-app experience, first as a very specialized section within the app. It's app in app. It's something which consumers can reach out to. And second is making it very Gen Z, very trend first, and full of inspiration through different formats. So that's really what we are doing.
So much is happening at a technology forefront. What if it takes your job someday? What will you do?
I think my belief is, and I have, experienced it in work, in my personal life, that as human beings, our capacity is enhanced through technology. So I think that's what I foresee the future to be, that all of our capacities will enhance, and I think we need to find out how capacities will enhance through technology. I think that's my answer. That's how I've thought about it. Yeah.
So Nandita, my next question is, so much is happening at Myntra. Where do you see Myntra 5 years from now, keeping in mind the context that how the retail industry is going to evolve going ahead?
I think, I would say that our mission of democratizing fashion and lifestyle through technology is what is central to what we do every day, right? And innovation is at the core of how we want to kind of democratize the industry using technology. And that, I think, will remain center to what we do. However, like the few trends which are emerging is, like I said, there is greater digitization of the consumers. And therefore, how do you build content to commerce journey seamlessly is very, very important. I think, again, the other thing is that brands and trends are not limited to metro and tier 1 cities. They are also, equally prevalent in tier 2 cities. So how do you actually take all of these experiences in relatable ways to the tier 2 cities is another thing. The consumers are getting younger. Gen Z is very, very important. I think it will be a big driver for retail in the next few years because first of all, they save for what they like. And second is that in the next few years, they will all enter the job market. Their purchasing power will grow. And therefore, their likes and dislikes will start really making a lot of difference to the retail environment. All kinds of brands. India is a country which needs more brands. So there will be, big incumbent brands which will keep growing. And there will be D2C brands and there will be international brands which will kind of make their place. So I think this is what I see the industry kind of evolve towards. Consumers will be more demanding. I think that always, is always a good thing. And I think everyone will continue to innovate to kind of fulfill their needs.
So Myntra will be doing all these things to meet the consumer expectations.
Yes. Yeah.
So before we close, Nandita, we will have a rapid chat where I'll be just bombarding the questions at you and will not give you time to think about it. So tell me your favorite business book and what do you like about that?
I read a lot. Like there has been a year when I read 52 books in 1 year. So, but the book that comes to my mind is Bob Iger's The Ride of a Lifetime. I think of course, it's a very, very inspirational book for the journey that he made as Disney CEO. But I think the biggest lesson that that was left behind with me was that it's a long race. You don't have to think that today is everything. Like, you are building towards a long career of 35, 40 years and you have to invest in yourself and in your career and what you do with that point of view. So I think that was the lesson I took and I try to, build that in my life every day.
See, everybody knows that you are working with Myntra, you are the CEO over here, you're running the show. But what do you do in your free time? Nobody knows about it. What are you passionate about?
I like reading. I spend time on that. I love spending time with my family. We love traveling as a family and we love watching movies. We love listening to music. So we like to spend time with each other through all of these things. Yeah.
Being a part of the e-commerce industry, where do you shop from? Online or offline?
I have been an avid Myntra shopper even before I joined Myntra. And I shop everything on Myntra. And I love shopping on Myntra. I think the kind of product, the kind of inspiration, the kind of brands, and the convenience that Myntra brings to my life as a working professional is tremendous. So I think I have always been a Myntra shopper, and I'm really, really happy that I'm now part of this experience.
So apart from Myntra, one retailer or the brand which you admire a lot?
I think I'll talk about two brands which have created an impact, one over the last few years and one, of course, over many, many years. I think one is IPL, I think really revolutionizing how sports is played in this country, not just cricket, but ensuring that there is so much opportunity for sportsmen across different parts of the country, different, like even different sports, right? Whether it's kabaddi or badminton, now you have leagues for everything. So I think revolutionizing sport, making it a part of your lexicon in terms of how people want to spend months of their life, planning their lives around matches, etc. So I think that's very interesting. And the other one is Amul. I think really the purpose and the movement it started from and continuing to be relevant today these are the two brands that I would pick up.
My last question is one quality that you want leaders to actually look up to you and learn from you.
I don't know that, but one quality as a leader that I like about myself is that I'm authentic. So that's what I like about myself as a leader.
I also like this about yourself. Thank you for being a part of
No, thank you so much. Thank you.
Thank you for watching this episode of ET Retail Cafe. We'll be back next week with a new retailer, new story. Till then, bye-bye.